Awesome. Good afternoon, Juanita. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. Thanks for letting me observe your session with Victoria. Want to go ahead and talk to you right after and ask you what you think went really well with your session.
Um, I think that she really got the understanding of how anticipating needs can help her with her numbers. Um, she felt a little bit happy, saw her smiling a lot more, knowing that that made a difference on what she's doing herself is making an impact and difference.
Okay, and that's what Victoria identified. But what did you do within that session?
Um, Gaining understanding
Okay, how'd you do that?
by asking probing questions.
Okay, I have to agree with you. And what else?
Um, that I had actual something visual because she's a visual learner, and that way she can actually see the difference of what she was making from the beginning of the month to the current month.
So let's take a look at your visuals. What did you have here?
So I have her from the scorecards, and then I also have here from the dashboard. So I highlighted her name um, with all the metrics, and then of course at the same here.
And you specifically circled what here?
Here
TR,
I circled the
FCR?
WTR FCR because with our scorecard, which is what we look at,
Okay.
it's on there. So those are my two main topics.
Good deal. And why the difference in the two pages?
The difference of how, because this one's long and this one's, because I have this to indicate how many for my other representative, which had
Okay.
nothing to do with her.
Okay, so
But that's why it was a little bit different.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure what she was looking at and understand.
Mhm.
So good deal. So you understand your flexing your bird style, what kind of learning behavior she has.
Mhm.
That's a perfect visual. What else do you think went really well?
I am confirmed the commitment that she's going to continue to do it. Since and gave her kudos.
All right, I have to agree. You were with the items that you listed. I also wanted to commend you on what went really well when you talked about. Remember when we discussed going back to you've already coached her, you've already talked to her. It's not a surprise. This isn't the first time we're talking. It's the middle of the month. You've already set those expectations for her. You were able to reiterate. I liked when you looked here and you talked about what are we doing with this section? This is the section we're going to go high in. This section we want to come low down in. So I like the way you were able to meet with her visual understanding her learning style and able to talk to her. So I thought you did that really, really well. And I like that you were able to confirm with her where were you when we talked last time? Where are you now? And then you're able to celebrate with her.
Mhm.
I really like the celebration when you talked about the 1 point reduction in the repeats.
Mhm.
She's even like, oh, wow, that's awesome, or something to that effect. She got excited, but she's like, you kind of saw her hesitate, but you know, celebrating is still celebrating. You're moving in the right direction. So I like that. What about your even betters for this session?
With my even betters, I think with the actual agent actions, I'm sorry, I know I should have brought the agent actions to let her know a little bit more. You remember when we talked about this? What did we talk about? That way she can read it herself and refresh her memory if she, if she doesn't remember or kind of that would keep her a little bit more engaged with that. Also, um, trying to think of the whole thing. I think also with making sure that she fully understands what I know I was going through them quickly with the metrics, and then asked her a couple probing questions. And then I know I filled in with her a couple of times. I think I should have asked her right there, maybe just a couple more questions on specific areas where she was having problems instead of me just answering it for her. And then she gained the oh yeah.
Like, give me an example.
For when we were talking about transfers, I'm sorry, for like the WTR, because I let them know that we have the site number then there's the actual goal, and then there's my goal that I committed to, um, my supervisor, you. And so she was kind of confused. Where I think I should have gained more confirmation to make sure she fully understands this is the goal. She knew the goals for the FCR, the 30-day repeats and everything else.
For the bigger picture.
Yeah, so make sure she understands everything, because even one little thing that she doesn't fully understand can knock down other things.
Okay, I can certainly agree with you on that and seeing that. Anything else you'd change if you do it again? I did want to go ahead and, for an even better for myself, an observation was the way you set the stage with her. I know we talk about at the beginning, we're in here to observe you, how are you saying everything, getting everything together. Do you think you set her up for what you would actually be going over and what the purpose of this was?
Because I told her that I was going to be talking to her, letting her know where she was at, and letting her know, the differences of what she made for this, where she's at right now, which I think that's what we talked about.
You talked a great deal about it,
Mm-hmm.
but to set the stage for her
Mm-hmm.
was, I would have liked to have said, Victoria, we're talking today. We're going to go ahead and go over from the very beginning of the month and how I've met with you each week or every 3 days, because you have them on a schedule.
Being specific.
Okay. So that she's not coming in here because, and I'm not saying it's a waste of time, but coming in here being thrown off guard a little bit because you were able to speak to her about every piece of what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
You were very specific, but the setting of the stage, I would have liked to have been more specific in what you'll be discussing with her and what the purpose of your session was today.
Okay.
Because we were very generic and very broad, and we're going to go and talk about some of these things and talk about some of these goals, but what specific goals? Coaching plan from the very beginning, perhaps, or, where we set the expectations to where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
What you talked about in detail was great, but that initial setting of the stage needs to be very tight and specific.
Mm-hmm.
Because after a while, she kind of looked at you and she said, "Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I get where we're going with it." Because she knows you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure you set that expectation for her at the beginning. Another even better for myself, when you're talking to her about the 6% and 4% difference,
mm-hmm.
we're talking about 9.2 being your goal. We're talking in your words almost there. Not horrible. We know it's my own pet peeve. Wimpy words. The almost. I understand she's improving, but just make sure to.
She's at goal.
She's at goal. She is,
because goal is 9, and she was at 6. Now she's at 4. She's actually improving.
Right.
So
just, I wouldn't even say like almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Just continue celebrating.
Continue.
Don't make it seem because she's already at goal. If she's continue to go in the right direction. Don't make it seem like what she's doing isn't good enough. Continue to celebrate that.
Yeah, I don't even know why I would say almost.
And I wasn't sure either. And that's what that caught me off. So I just wanted to make sure continue to use those positive words to promote her. And the only thing is in regards to, we're talking about your commitment. I know for you, you had mentioned you were able to receive and get her commitment.
Mm-hmm.
When, though, for you is your commitment with her?
Okay.
Because she asked you asked her, what do you need from me? And she says, follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Give me my numbers, let me know something about when things get a little crazy.
Yeah.
The way Victoria talks, when's it
Yeah.
And, you're like, sure, I can go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
And then make sure what your commitment is specifically to her. So how could you have changed that?
Okay. Let her know. Okay. Besides the A's, because I know that's what she was aiming more, especially with the A's, with the crazies. That's what she said, crazy numbers. And so basically, let her know, we'll definitely continue once you get an A's, we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but in the meantime, if before we get it, I'll follow up with you later on today. I'm sorry that she'll be leaving a little bit, so I'll let her know in the morning. I can follow up with her to making sure on the new online process that she told me she would do, that I will check up on that with you, follow up with you.
And anything to make her feel more specific with her about the when part.
Really good, because she felt that's what's going to help her, and then I'm committing. Okay, that's what you need help with. That's what I'm going to do.
Do you think she walked out of here with a full commitment from you, or thinking she has a full commitment from you?
No.
Understanding. So good deal. So I would like to see that changed in your interaction with her and your agents when you're doing that and giving information. I think that's going to really help you get their buy-in as well. So the things that we discussed, what to two things are you going to go ahead and change in your next session?
Oh my God, three.
Just two of the bigger locks, if you will.
I think the commitment's really important because if I don't get their buy-in and they don't feel that I'm bought in to helping them, they're not gonna want to improve. So that's a really big thing for me. Is the time and date, being specific, letting them know when. I think the positive words continue instead of saying almost, because it's kind of will put them down, and I don't want them to be down. So I definitely want to use with positive words and refrain from the almost or anything like that.
Okay, and I like the positive words, and I don't want to twist your arm. Kind of like in the setting of a stage, making sure that when you're meeting them, they meet in there. But if you want to take away positive words and commitment, I'm totally good with that. But I would just think that would be your bigger lock.
Is setting the stage.
Setting the stage before the positive words. But do you understand why?
Yeah, if they have more understanding of what's going to be discussed, they can gain more information and don't feel lost in the beginning instead of having to catch on what I'm trying to ask them for that. So that would be really good.
So what do you want to agree to?
The specific on the opening of setting the session, and then commitment, time and date, specific.
And when can I see these changes?
In the morning, I'm going to do a follow-up with her.
Okay.
So I will make sure and display specific on the opening and commitment.
Awesome, and I know we have our LEAP training tomorrow by 10, so if you can include me on that,
Okay.
that way we can meet, and I'd like to follow up on that one, and let's discuss it with DFM right after that.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome, do you need anything from me to help you be successful with this?
No, baby.
Awesome, nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.